Good morning and welcome to 3 Minutes of Truth. Today we are going to look at how Gideon overcame the paralysis of insecurity. At some point we all feel insecure about certain aspects of our lives, and that I believe is perfectly normal. It keeps us humble and it keeps us dependent on God. But if that feeling of insecurity is not resolved over a long period of time, it spreads like a cancer into every aspect of your life to the point that you begin to feel insecure about anything and everything in life. This is exactly what happened in Gideon's life. The Bible says the Midianites oppressed the children of Israel for 7 years, which means Gideon was dealing with his personal feelings of insecurity for at least 7 years. And that's a very long time. But more than that, 7 is a number of completion, which means that at this stage of his life, Gideon was completely insecure about everything in his life. What started as a small feeling of personal insecurity had grown into a massive problem for Gideon. Maybe it started with a general feeling of not being able to measure up to his brothers. Then he started feeling like he was the least in his father's house. Then it grew to his father's house was the least in his clan. Then it grew to his clan was the least in Manasseh, and then it grew to his tribe was the least of all the tribes. And I think you can get my point. If you don't deal with your personal feelings of insecurity, they will end up affecting every aspect of your life. When the angel of the Lord found Gideon, he was hiding in the winepress, completely paralyzed by his insecurities. Now here's the irony. Gideon's name means a great warrior, and yet in a time of crisis, when warriors are needed the most, he was hiding because of unresolved feelings of insecurity. Here's my point. You cannot overcome your external crisis without first dealing with your internal crisis. In fact, your external crisis often reveals the depth of your internal crisis. Now here's the good news. You can overcome the paralysis of insecurity. You simply have to listen to what God has to say about you in the midst of your crisis. God called Gideon a mighty man of valor while he was still hiding in the winepress. And all Gideon had to do to overcome his crisis was to believe that God was right about him. I want to leave you with this thought. If you don't deal with your insecurities, you will always doubt the voice of God. But if you choose to listen to the voice of God, you will overcome your insecurities. My name is Justin, and this is 3 Minutes of Truth.